the room. Outside, the hum of the city carried on, unaware of the quiet, hidden world she had stepped into. Behind her, Clayton sat on the edge of the bed, his tie undone and his shirt unbuttoned at the collar. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, his gaze fixed on her as though she were the only thing worth noticing. "You're quiet," he said softly, his deep voice filling the silence between them. Isabelle turned, her lips curving into a faint smile. "Am I?" Clayton stood, his movements slow and deliberate. He crossed the room to stand beside her, his presence warm and steady. "Usually, you're the one reminding me how short these moments are," he teased, his tone light but edged with something deeper. She looked up at him, her eyes sparkling with a mix of humor and something she didn't dare name. "Maybe I'm waiting for you to remind me this time." The air between them seemed to hum with the tension they always carried. Clayton reached for her hand, his touch light and tentative at first, his fingertips brushing against hers as if testing the boundaries of what they could allow themselves. Isabelle's breath caught, and when she didn't pull away, he stepped closer. His hand moved to her shoulder, the touch warm and grounding. For a moment, they stood in silence, their breaths synchronized, the weight of their unspoken connection filling the room. Clayton's gaze met hers, and in it, Isabelle saw the same mix of longing and restraint that mirrored her own. "If this is too much," he began, his voice a quiet murmur. "It's not," Isabelle interrupted, her voice steady despite the rapid beat of her heart. Clayton smiled, a soft, genuine smile that seemed to melt away any lingering hesitation. He let his hand trail down her arm, his touch leaving a warmth that spread through her. The closeness between them deepened, their movements unhurried, as though savoring the fleeting nature of their time together. Isabelle's fingers brushed against his chest, tracing the faint lines of his collarbone where his shirt had slipped open. The intimacy of the moment was simple yet profound, the connection between them needing no words. Clayton's hand found the small of her back, guiding her closer, his touch gentle but purposeful. The quiet sounds of the city faded into the background, leaving only the rhythm of their breaths and the rustle of fabric as they settled into each other's presence. Every glance, every touch spoke volumes of the trust and tenderness they shared, their connection a sanctuary from the outside world. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden shadows across the room, Clayton rested his forehead against Isabelle's. His hand cupped her cheek, his thumb brushing a delicate path along her jawline. "I hate that this has to end," he murmured, his voice tinged with a quiet ache. Isabelle looked up at him, her lips curving into a soft smile. "Then let's not think about it right now," she said, her words a gentle plea. For the remainder of their time, they stayed close, speaking in soft tones and sharing quiet laughter. They knew the clock was ticking, but they let the world outside wait. Here, in this moment, they were simply two people finding solace in one another. When the time came to part, it was with lingering touches and a promise in their eyes, unspoken but understood. As Clayton slipped out the door, Isabelle remained by the window, watching the city lights begin to flicker as dusk settled in. The memory of his touch, his voice, and the warmth they shared stayed with her, a secret she carried like a treasured keepsake.